All right, guys, welcome back to the pod. Join back with the co-host again. We're going to be talking about mathematics, not not the mathematics taught in the mainstream. We're going to go over some stuff that may have some hard truths on how we got here. But yeah, we delve deep into some constants. One everyone's familiar with, another one. It's a lot. There's a bit of gold in that other constant and different types of numbers that again we've all encountered in school, but outside you don't use. So let's just get started with that. So I think the first thing is the types of numbers that we have. So the prime numbers, like I think you all know what a prime number is, but you don't really use it outside of what they tell you in school. But in decoding, when you combine it with numerology or gematria, you get some interesting results. So yeah, well, Flo, what are your thoughts on that? Or
What are my thoughts on the prime numbers?
yeah, how
Yeah,
special
the
they are in
yeah,
decoding.
extremely special. Well, you have like a lot of different special. I'm sure we're going to cover them in this video, but yeah, prime numbers definitely have a huge significance in the field of maths and connectivity with like the universe and stuff. And all numbers possess an energy which is inherent in them, and they are so powerful because they're such unique numbers. So they basically stand out amongst the crowd of the rest of the numbers.
Yes, definitely. Like they hold such significant power once you fully understand what they mean. Like I think when you see a certain number, you have to then look at that number more and see what it truly means. And the prime numbers in particular, there's other numbers like triangular numbers and Fibonacci, which links into the golden ratio, which we'll talk about later. But the prime numbers in particular, they're very special.
Yeah, yeah. The primes do stick out quite often, where you'll find like a link between certain numbers, and you'll think, oh, if a prime shows up, then there's usually a lot more significance, and you should do some more digging into that. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Prime
for
is like
sure.
the prime is the it's primary. It deserves your focus. You should think about that number and really.
Like you always hear the saying, in football, he's in his prime.
Yeah. He's like at the peak. It's the best it can be.
Yeah, he's at the peak of his powers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll give you an example because in the last episode we talked a bit about the top G.
Top G,
Andrew
Andrew
Tate, the
Tate.
top G. Yeah, the top G, and so obviously in between this pod and the last pod, I found something with him when you connect his name with the primes. So yeah, I'll share my screen now just to show the people. Um,
Is he doing it?
yeah,
Bloody
yeah, yeah.
fucking.
I'm just gonna.
Oh,
Can you see it?
I can now. Yeah. I couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
See it
So
now.
I have the top G here.
Top G. Top
Obviously,
G.
if you look at the headlines, man, I just wanna pay attention to his full name, which I use, and the day he was born. So if you type in his name in the Great Chaldean cipher, you get a value of 59. And this is where, with numerology, you see that 59, but what does it really mean? When you combine it with mathematics, you see that 59 is the 17th prime number. You see the 17 there. And this is quite scary. I, I talked about mentioning that he was born on the 14th of December. And if you go on that, it leaves 17 days left in the year.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool. That's cool. Maybe that's why I
it's
love him
pretty
so much,
cool.
because my favorite number is 17.
Yes, I mean you yourself, man. You got the 17 in your YouTube name.
Top G. Yeah.
Yes, the word matrix equals 17 in Chaldean, and that
Yeah.
guy has
Life,
escaped the matrix.
fish, life equals 17.
Reality. Yeah, reality
Yeah.
equals 17 too.
Does it in
Plus
Chaldean?
17. What?
It equals 17 in Chaldean. Reality.
Yes, reality.
Does it?
Yes.
Didn't realise that.
Yeah, it does.
No, really. That's interesting.
Like if you look at 17 as well, that's the seventh prime number. And how many days are there in a week? 7.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the 1-7. It's the head of the
Yes.
7.
Yeah, if you say it as that.
Yeah.
Good start, man. I mean, Andrew Tate. I mean, but what does that mean? Is Andrew Tate's parents in on the conspiracy? Are they sitting there matching his name to that number and then decided for him to be born on the 14th of December? You
Yeah.
gotta be
It's just,
stupid to think that.
yeah, it's just preposterous, isn't it? Well, if people do like decodes on themselves and saw all these numbers pop up, they'd be like, am I in on the conspiracy? And am I part of the Jesuit order? Am I a Freemason? I don't think so. It's possible, though. There might be. You might just not know. Might have forgot that they signed up.
Maybe I mean,
That might be part of it. Everyone's a Freemason, maybe.
I mean, if that was the case, man, we'd all be running the show, but
Yeah, but we've
we're
all
not
got our
really.
parts to play, haven't we?
Yes,
Everyone's just playing their part.
yeah, for sure. Once you know that, you see that you gotta enjoy the ride in life.
Yeah, you have. It's just a roller coaster. Just sit back and enjoy the ride.
Yep.
But yeah, I feel like maths is the central point of all of life. Really, it's like I think we said in the last podcast. To be fair, Pythagoras believed that God was a mathematician,
Yes,
and the
I
whole
agree with that
the
statement
whole
for sure.
universal code is derived of numbers, and numbers
Yeah,
is
yeah.
how God speaks. We are part of the maths on a big scale.
Yes, like mathematics, I would say, is the language of this universe.
Yeah, yeah,
Because everything you see around, it wouldn't exist without mathematics.
yeah.
But
Well, it's something that it's like it's a tangible thing. You can look at something and be like, oh, there's 2 of those. There's 3 of
yes,
those. Like if I have the object, it's just saying how many that they are. You don't need a language to do that. You can just count. Like that's a representation of the numbers. There's just so many different representations of numbers everywhere. Even words have numbers inherently part of them because it's like an energy source that creates them because of like
yeah, for
the
sure.
number, like the alphabetical order.
Hmm.
Each letter has been assigned a number. So,
Yeah,
and the more energy people give to that idea gives the connection between the numbers and the letters.
yeah, 100%. Like that's fundamentally what creates numerology ciphers, which exist solely to decode reality.
Yeah, exactly.
I
It's
think
weird.
we can move on to the next topic. We touch on the pie. I should have bought some pies, but should have bought some pies with me. I was planning on that, but I forgot. So yeah, the great
I've got a
pie
load of apples
3-2.
downstairs. I can bring upstairs and make an
Yeah,
apple pie if you want.
it's like when I came home just nights ago. I saw there was apples, so
Yeah.
it's a shame I could have made a pie, but just instead
Ugh.
talk about pie itself.
Well, the GMO though.
3.14. Why that
Twenty.
number? Why is it so not work? Is worship the right word? Why is it so prevalent in modern mathematics?
Hmm.
Do you have an idea why that is? I mean,
Do
as
I have
far
an
as I'm
idea
aware,
what that is?
yeah,
Because everything exists inside of pi. Whoa.
yeah,
Well, I think that's the theory that's tossed around in like the decoding universe that we exist inside of pi. I think it was first theorized by Logan. I don't know, but if you trace the numbers through pi, you'll often get a connection between 2 seemingly unconnected events. So, like with the Queen just passing away, she died at 96 and she ruled for
yes,
70 years. She hit a
Yes.
jubilee before she passed away. And if you look for 96 in the string of pi, it turns up at the 70th digit. So you often have
Opposite way
them
around.
connections. Opposite way
Yeah.
around, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I knew. Is it?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I know.
When you
I
put
feel like if you look for 96, I'm gonna have to look that up
during the
because I'm sure.
during the show, then I'm pretty sure that when you put 70 in the string of pi, it appears at the 96th decimal digit.
I think it's the other way around. I think I might
Yeah.
be right. Hang on.
Are you able to share screen?
Oh no, you are right. You are right. Yeah. My bad.
Oh,
No, it's all
nice.
right. It's too late now. Anyway. Yeah,
Yeah.
you are right. But yeah, you have them connections. Like even you can do it in your own life. Like seemingly things that unconnected just seem to connect somehow. It's really weird. If you search
Yes.
through the numbers of the pi, so it's essentially that all things that happen in are coded through the digits of pi.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like, there's only one fraction in maths. Like, if you take the two numbers, 22 divided by 7, you get pi. And if you know about 22 in numerology, it's considered a master number. And then
Yeah.
the number 7, we talked about earlier in the pod that it's the number of days in the week, the number of chakras, the number of deadly sins. I mean, speaking of sins, I feel it's best to move on to trigonometry, where you have the sine and the cosine waves.
Yeah. You can probably take the floor on this one because I'm not as clued up on this one as you are.
Well, you're not cleared on trigonometry.
Not really. Done a bit. I
Was
did a bit of work when I was in high school, but that's a long time ago. So
yes, only high school. Yeah, it's
yeah,
pretty easy if you do it in school, but the way they teach it you is very abstract. Like if you really break down trigonometry, it goes into nature and mythology, which I'll show in a couple of minutes. And yeah, man, it's really incredible just to show how we got here. Because like we both had this not idea, it's true, but you know how the Bible talks about us being born into sin.
yeah. Born into
Yeah,
sign.
yeah, born into sign. Really, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that I'm going to show them now that using the layers besides numerology and maths that this is the case.
yeah.
Yeah,
And on the calculator, when you do mathematics and trigonometry, sign is spelled sin. There's not even. Is that something they've done on purpose, or is it just a? Is it just shortening the word down, or have they done that as a clue? I don't think consciously.
man.
Maybe I think the Matrix did it.
Yeah,
Demiurge or
I
whatever's
believe
running
so.
this reality as a
Yes,
joke.
yeah, the false god. If you look into Gnosticism, which we'll talk about in the future, the false
Yeah.
god running this reality. But it's playing tricks on all of us. So yeah, how are we born into sin? Let me show you using mathematics. Hang on. So in trigonometry, if you have a calculator, you see the word sin,
Yeah.
and sin is often used in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what does sin really mean? Where does it come from? Well, if you look into the Mesopotamian regions, it is a moon god. You may be thinking, hang on, why that? But then when you look into the pattern of the moon, the moon has the 28-day cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that pattern. Doesn't that look like, if you know your maths, you know that looks exactly like a sine wave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like obviously you can look at the moon further and decode that, the 28 days moon cycle matching the 28-day menstrual cycle if you're a woman. That's why in numerology, in the Chaldean, if you type the word woman, you get 23 matching with the word moon. And so
That's
yeah,
that's
you
actually
have the
interesting
sun.
as
Yeah, it
well.
is, man.
I've just had the thought that the moon obviously does have a part in the ovulation cycle of females, which is quite strange, and no one
Yeah.
ever really understood why. And I just thought that the moon actually controls the waves of the sea,
Yes.
which is interesting, like the sine waves. So
Yes. Sine
that's
waves
very
controls the
that's
wave.
yeah.
Yes. So then you see the pattern of the moon that he makes in the 28 days is an exact match to a sine wave in mathematics that they teach in school. But the teachers don't know that. But the teachers will tell you, oh, go on, kid, let's find out what sine 60 is in the calculator. Yeah, that's going to really do anything for your health education. And obviously, we know the moon and the sign, and you can see it's the same. So when you bring it to astrology, now you get Cancer, which is ruled by the moon. It's the fourth zodiac, and then you see the 69. The 69 is a very esoteric, has very esoteric meaning behind it with duality and all
Yeah.
of that. But if you go back to numerology, it's something that we all have. This, the full name for DNA, the 69. Even for me personally, my full name in numerology is 69. So it's just so prevalent to me.
That's cool. My grandma was born on 6/9 as well.
Is that the 6th of September,
Yeah, she was born on the
English
6th
day?
of September. Yeah.
Nice.
Or the 9/6 in whichever way you want to look at it.
Yeah, in the American
In
version.
1927. Yeah.
So yeah, guys, that's how we're born on the scene.
The 6/9 is the yin yang as well, the balance, the duality of
Yes,
life, coming in and finding
yes,
balance.
yes. We live in a dualistic world.
6/9.
Yeah.
Square root of 69 is 8 some. Sorry, just saw that TikTok earlier. You know the
Oh,
Drake
did
song?
you? No,
Oh, you don't know the lyric?
no. I don't know.
Ah, fair. She don't know it, it's fine.
Yeah, it's all right.
But yeah, 69, the duality is an interesting. I can't remember which it is now, but I think I think my full name actually equates to 96 in one of the ciphers, if I can remember correctly
Does
which
it?
one it is. I think it might be the reverse ordinal. Yeah, which is extremely
Yeah,
interesting.
that's special.
Just to revert back to pi, I talked about the other day. I mentioned to you. It was just like a random thing. My dad brought up me being born at Mount Elias. My parents getting married, sorry, at Mount Elias, and my middle name is Elias. And Elias, if you look at it from a perspective of numeric, like how it looks as a number, like so E being a 3, it kind of spells
Yeah,
out pi, like the first
yeah,
5 digits of pi, which is really weird.
yeah. It's even for me, man. Like you talked about your parents having your 31st anniversary, and that's been the first two
Yeah,
digits
like
of like
yeah,
my
exactly.
name. My first name in numerology is 31, and my mother's born on the 31st, which
Yeah.
is incredible. As I was, the eldest child, so like I feel like as I was making this pod, like I feel like you have the two constants, pi and phi. Phi being the golden ratio we touch on. I feel like I'm the representation of pi, not to be arrogant, and you're the representation of phi. As I believe your
Mm,
first name is 21 in Chaldean, and the 21st letter in the Greek alphabet is phi. By the way,
yeah,
phi and pi are Greek letters.
yeah.
Pi
That
being
is
the
interesting.
16th. Yeah.
Yeah, that is very interesting. Yeah, it's my
So
name equaling
yeah,
96 in the reverse full reduction, actually.
nice. The
Uh,
duality.
yeah, just the best thing everyone can do, I think, is just try and decode themselves. I'd urge everyone to go to Logan's channel on Decode Your Reality and follow his instructions when he says decode yourself, because you'll find a lot about yourself and you'll be like, oh, that's interesting. And it'll
Yes.
encourage you to go down different avenues and try like real life circumstances, things that have happened to you, to make connections. But yeah, like looking into pi, looking through the strings of pi, phi, you'll find a lot. You'll find a hell of a lot.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's incredible, really, when you go down the layers. I mean, we've only touched on numerology and mathematics, but when I explain how we're all born into sin, I obviously use multiple because I've reached that stage where I can do that. But I think for
Yeah,
the average guy that's new to this, it's all a bit complex. So
yeah.
I
You have to take
think,
it one step at a time, definitely.
yeah, there's like when you watch, Logan, as you've talked about, he goes in straight away, and I think it can take a while to get used to this knowledge because it's new. It's not
Yeah,
been taught in school because they've made it that way so you don't see the light, if you want to
yeah.
say the light, of questioning your reality, decoding your reality, and mathematics and numerology, as well as the other layers we'll talk about in later episodes, are absolutely fundamental for that.
See the light or see the dark.
Yes. It doesn't matter which one, like they try to trick us on that, the light or the dark, but just be neutral in life. And I urge everyone, I urge everyone to be neutral.
Yeah.
Don't pick sides because that's what the creator of this reality wants us to do. So
And
yeah,
get stuck in the rebirth cycle. Come back again as an avatar.
yes, we don't want that. I mean, it's hard to know because we enjoy life, but the
Yeah,
suffering, you don't want.
I think that's the best part of this knowledge is that it kind of like wakes you up to the fact that whatever's happening is part of the script and it's not to be feared necessarily.
Yeah,
And going out and protesting and stuff like that and just getting angry at a system that you really have no control over is going to do nothing. It's just going to provide energy to whatever's happening and like make it happen quicker.
absolutely. I mean, it's not worth wasting your energy and time and that. I
Yeah,
feel like energy is such a key word that is not explained well enough because no one really knows what energy is. Like it's one of the most, I think, complicated topics to ever discuss in
yeah.
history of mankind.
Energy, inner God.
Yes. Now that we've touched on phi, no, not phi, sorry, pi. I feel like now we should touch on the golden ratio. That's what phi is often called, and how it's so connected with the Fibonacci sequence. And if you're familiar with the Fibonacci sequence, the first two terms in the sequence are both one, and then the next number in the sequence is the first two digits added, and it repeats. So you got 1, 1, 2, then 3, which you get from 1 plus 2, and then 5, which you get from 2 plus 3, and vice versa. And what you notice is as you go along the Fibonacci sequence, when you divide the next term from the previous term, you get an answer that is very close to phi, the golden ratio. Like you see, often is found in nature if you do your research, and you see it often also. I've seen like images where the golden ratio is found in the human body, like in the ears and other places. So it's very fascinating. And of
It's almost a
course, you
construct
can,
of nature.
yes, nature. And as well, both pi and phi, they're both, what do you call it? What's the word? Infinite constants.
Yeah.
So, like how Rolflo explained that you can find numbers in the string of pi, you can also find numbers in the string of the golden ratio. So, yeah,
Yeah. I think another interesting thing to do is if you, it's quite fascinating as well. If you go either 161 days before your date of birth and work out what day it was, and then look at what happened on that day, like anything significant, like a movie coming out, a song coming out, um, an event on the world stage, and then do it for forward as well in front of your date of birth, you tend to find something significant and often strangely related to your life. For myself, I went forward 161 days and found out that the Truman Show was released on 161 days following my birthday. So obviously the Truman Show is about someone coming to terms with the reality and being like, this reality isn't what I thought it was, and trying to escape. So yeah, it's just kind of mind blowing. It's to the exact date as well.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. Like we ourselves, I think, you just in particular the epitome of Truman. You figured out that this reality is not what you think it is, and now you want to escape. I mean, I think this
weird.
knowledge is I think that this knowledge is the key, and the deeper layers of mathematics that they don't show you in the mainstream will enable you to see what what is not seen by many others that are stuck in the matrix.
Yeah. So it's you can often find. Have you done that? Have you tried that?
I did, but I didn't see anything significant about that. I do it now, actually.
Try it with
I'm gonna see.
songs that came out. Songs is quite an
Okay.
interesting one. Or see number one song at the date. That's a good one to look at. See what song was number one.
Yeah, I'll definitely look at that after this episode. And then I'll get back to you and maybe share it with the viewers in the next pod or future pods anyway. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's extremely interesting because that's like a representation of nature. Perhaps if you went another 161 days after that day, you'd find something else because it's like an extension. The 161 just keeps going and keeps repeating, like you'll find in nature with flowers and stuff like that.
Yes. And for sure, like the golden ratio is very special and he has a lot of meaning, I mean, why the golden ratio? Why is it named golden? I mean, if you know alchemy, which is another layer on top of many other layers, gold represents the sun, and obviously the sun is what is used to create this reality. Because without the sun, we'd all die. Without the sun, there's no light, and it's why it's so prevalent in us and in flowers and in, I believe, seahorses as well. If you do your research on that, so
Seahorses. I don't know about seahorses. What's that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
What do you mean by that?
It's like when you look at a seahorse and the golden spiral.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you do the Fibonacci sequence, you connect. You draw rectangles that measure the lengths of the Fibonacci sequence, and then you have a golden spiral, and from that it can be used to fit into a seahorse.
Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is.
Good old seahorses, eh? Seahorse equals 31 in Chaldean. Actually, that's interesting. Like pi.
Match to my name. Yeah, match to my name as well.
Well, no way. Maybe you are a seahorse.
Yeah.
Can you give birth?
No, I can't give birth.
You're not a seahorse then.
But guys, but I didn't sit there and decide I was going to talk about seahorses and type it in the calculator. There's no way I was doing that.
No,
it's not possible.
Or were you? Because you're a Jesuit.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, man. Maybe what I might be saying is all false. I may be, trying to mock you.
You might be.
Yeah.
I was born. I'm born on the anniversary of the Illuminati being founded.
Was that the first? Actually, I won't reveal it, but yes.
Yeah.
Does that mean you're a member of the Illuminati, or you
maybe,
or in your past life you was part of the Illuminati? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I was the founder. Maybe I was Adam Weishaupt, however you say it. Because as well, my name equals 222 in reverse ordinal, which is interesting because I was born 222 years after the anniversary, so it's like the 222nd anniversary is when I was born. Which is funny.
The 222. See that number a lot when you use other ciphers. Yes. If you're familiar with the the Freemasons, that secret society that nobody knows because they keep things hidden. Well, Freemasonry in general is not a secret, but what they do, they keep secret. Obviously, they don't want us to know.
Yeah. I think people are figuring it out themselves.
Yeah. By the way, we are not Freemasons. I mean, for me, there's no point of being one.
No. You can just find this information yourselves. You can. No one really knows what a Freemason is, like, because it's so secretive. That is, I've heard stories of people that friends of friends that have said, "Oh, I know someone who's a Freemason," and they say it's just like a group, like they just help each other out. They don't. It's not like a cult or anything like that. So you hear these thoughts, like, and you can't know unless you're part of that group. You can't know for sure
Yeah,
what they're
exactly.
doing.
Yeah,
So
otherwise you're just guessing and
yeah,
making
exactly.
assumptions.
Yeah, like you
And
don't know
that's
most
not
of these
like
people personally. There's probably a
yeah,
lot of
it's not.
Freemasons that are really good, like good people, and a lot that are
Yeah,
probably evil. But that's just human nature.
yeah. It's like there's good and bad in everything. It's just the
Yeah,
nature of the dualistic world that we live in.
exactly. Uh,
So yeah, have you got anything? Have you got any other things you want to talk about in maths?
um, not really, not really, not that we can't then cover with saying something else, if that makes sense. So with another
Yeah,
topic tied in, so like bringing
yeah,
alchemy into it and like the elements and stuff like that. I
yeah. I feel
think
like
that's
maths.
help aid. It's a building
Yeah,
block. It's one of many jigsaw pieces that will connect a whole jigsaw together.
yeah, it's just a piece in the decoding puzzle, the rabbit holes.
Yeah,
Because I feel like as a topic to talk about, like maths, it's not the most interesting topic if for the average Joe, because the average Joe doesn't like maths. The average Joe goes to school and sees that it's all abstract, it's all nonsense, so they don't enjoy it. Like I've
yeah,
always
yeah,
been a fan of maths. I've always been a fan of maths as a kid, so it's something I've always enjoyed, and yeah. But as a topic itself, it's quite limiting, especially to an audience that doesn't go in depth in maths, because once you finish it with school, you don't really use what they tell you, because it's mostly useless.
yeah. Well, it is, isn't it? It's not applicable to real life, most of it. But when you learn these things, you can almost have fun with it, can't you? You can have a good time just like figuring out different connections. They make it kind of
Yeah.
boring and monotonous in school because they're like, oh, just figure out this random angle, or figure out the length of the hypotenuse on this random triangle that someone's just drawn. That has no
Yeah.
purpose or no significance or no tie to anything. But when you start using
Yes.
it to connect dots and sense the power of the numbers, it makes it a lot more interesting and tie it into your own life. It makes it a lot more accessible and more enjoyable.
Yeah, for sure. Like I feel like once you realize, like with the trigonometry example I showed, when you connect it with mythology and what else, astrology, you realize everything's connected in this reality. But
Yeah,
the elite, if you want to call them that, or the controllers in general, they look to separate everything,
yeah,
so you don't realize, hang on, this is related to this. And it's really great once you see that. But I know most people won't be able to see this, which is unfortunate, but that's the reality of the life we live in.
yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, any more thoughts,
No,
or
I
is
don't
that
think
it?
so. I don't think so for this topic, to be honest.
Yeah, even for me, I don't really have anything much to say, so I
No,
guess this is the end. Yeah, I
I think
mean,
once you've got the building blocks, that's all you need, isn't it?
yes, I mean, I know, like for this topic in general, there's not much to go further. I mean,
No.
I guess actually there's one more thing. Like if you go, I'll probably show them at the end, but if you go to the calculator that we use, it's called the Geometrinator. You find mathematical ciphers. So we both typically use the Chaldean numerology cipher because it's the most accurate if you do your research. It's based off the foundations and of the universe. But if you look at um, mathematical ciphers, um, it's like there's a section here. And this is a pretty good website. You see all the mathematical ciphers. Like I think the main ones, like you have the primes, the trigonal, which is the list of the triangle numbers and the squares. So, and then obviously from there you can look at each value in each mathematical cipher and decode that from that meaning. But that's just another layer, another way you can use mathematics to decode by using these mathematical ciphers. Me, typically, I don't use them because I feel like once you use the prime numbers based off the numerology, you don't really want to use another cipher. But I don't know if you've been watching Logan. He's starting to use the prime cipher in particular,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
it seems like he
But
has
it's just
some
interesting
value.
that you've got the 6 9 there, aren't you, in the prime, the 6
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
9.
In between, in
Yeah,
with the one in between. Yeah, it's just pretty interesting.
yeah. See, I never use those ciphers, but it's probably worth using. Also, if people want to look up, like search the digits of pi, if you literally look up on Google, just search pi, just type that in, just search pi into Google, you'll find it. I use personally, I don't know if you use the same, I use angio.net/pi, and that basically just runs down all the digits of pi. I think you use a different one for phi, don't you?
Yes. Is it for the strings of pi or just to
Yeah, for the
um
strings.
oh yeah, I use a website called subidium.com. Yeah, I'll put that in the
So,
description.
yeah,
Yeah.
pop that in the description just so people, if they want to decode and stuff like that, they can do.
Yeah.
Which makes it easier for people to get about, I
But I
think.
feel like as well there's one other way that you can decode reality is like if you take the strings of pi and phi and you put them in the calculator. So if you take the values, for example, 3.14, you put that in the calculator, you're going to get 8 because 3 plus 1 plus 4 is 8. So using using the infinite digits of pi and putting them in the calculator to get a value is another way that you can decode reality and see the representation of pi and phi within the calculator. I mean, there's other constants out there like e and the square root of 2, but in terms of their meanings, I'm not really sure what they have.
Mm.
I don't know about you, but have you been familiar with the e constant and the square root of 2?
I haven't, no, but I think they're all always worth looking into and just having a delve and see what they can provide.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
you can
Like,
just play around with it. I think that's the best advice you could give.
yeah, because in school, like, he's told that the e constant is only used in terms of compound interest and it's based off, exponential growth, which kind of makes sense in a way because money, if you start investing at this amount and each year it's going to go up
Yeah,
exponentially and it's used in radioactive decay as well, so that links back to the periodic table and alchemy when you go through that process, which we can talk about in the alchemy section, where you have uranium and that decays into lead, and in the exponential graph it goes up and then it goes down slowly, but it doesn't touch the axis, the x-axis in particular.
mm. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
insanely interesting. I didn't know any
yeah,
of
but
that.
yeah, but to apply it in decoding, it's not been seen or shown by any other decoder out there. So
Wow,
it's
we
something
can
new,
try.
something new to discover. Yeah,
It's an avenue
can try.
worth exploring.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think I need to go back to physics A level again and look at radioactive decay again and
What did you
see
What
where
did you
that takes me.
What did you get at physics A level?
I got an A.
You got an A at physics A level?
Yes.
Wow. I got an E. But I do blame that on the fact that I didn't do maths alongside it. I was just kind of winging it.
Yeah.
So
Was
yeah,
it
I
just
probably should have done
vibes?
maths as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to do
Yeah, like
physics, but I was like, I can't afford to do maths because there was like other subjects that I wanted to do more.
yeah. Like there's
So
only like in my sixth one, there's only really one person in my physics class that didn't do maths. The rest did physics and maths. So
yeah,
I feel like you can't do one without the other.
no, you really couldn't because
So,
like most of the syllabus was just the same sort of stuff.
yes. In most of the questions you just use mathematics, and
Yeah.
you have the odd question where you have to explain science and all of that, but
Yeah,
majority of the time it's just maths.
yeah, bloody maths. Eh?
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like we can end it there. Any
Yeah.
closing thoughts?
Not for me. Not for me. What about you?
Not for me as well. It's been a good episode, but I
Yeah.
think we can end it there, and see you guys next time. So
See
yeah,
you guys next week.
see you guys next week.